I mentioned at the start of the programme, it's 30 years since there was a big boxing bill here in Nottingham, and Nottingham as a city is looking for a big boxing star of its own, and maybe it's found it in Carl Froch. His dad's here, his mum's here, the whole family's here. In fact, anybody who's ever met him is here. Let's meet the man himself.
Carl, you must have very fond memories of this place.
Most definitely. First walked in here probably 15 years ago when I was 10, and that's where my career started, basically, as an amateur. Originally, my father brought me here to start looking after myself, to get fit, in case anybody starts bullying you at school and that, just the usual sort of thing, and just to get myself in shape, really. Probably keep me off the streets as well. And
how soon was it before you began to realise that maybe you got a talent for it?
Well, I really enjoyed it from day one, really. I mean, just letting shots go on the bag and on the pads with my old amateur coach, Dale. I realised that I was quite good at the sport and sparring, moving around. So I started competing when I was 11 and I won nearly all my junior fights. So it's then that I realised that I am quite good at this.
How quickly did he take to the sport then?
Very quickly. He'd got so much talent. It was unbelievable. It was just him believing in himself. Once he'd done that, the world's his oyster, as it is in the professional.
And the reputation that you built here, has that stood you in good stead as a pro?
Most definitely, yeah. What I achieved as an amateur, I mean, 2 national titles, a national final, and then a World Games medal. I mean, that's a real big achievement, and people are going to look at that, and there's going to be a fear factor when they're stepping through the ropes in the pro ring. And now obviously the training that I'm doing, and as you know, I've got Howard Eastman in the gym, I've got Robert McCracken behind me. People know that they're big names, and people are definitely taking note of me now.
What does it mean to you to be boxing in your hometown?
To box in my hometown is really, really big and exciting for me, to come back to Nottingham, especially with a fantastic venue such as the Ice Ring.
Have you thought forward and maybe one day there'll be a big title fight here?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I think this seats 8,000 or 10,000 capacity, so hopefully one day I'll be filling it out with a British title, maybe even a couple of them world titles from over the Atlantic. It'd be brilliant, that would. That's my definite ambition. I want to bring them all home to Nottingham and sell out this place.
Well, Carl Froch certainly putting some pressure on himself there. Can he live up to that billing? Let's rejoin Richie and Jim.
They've waited some 10 months for this moment here in Nottingham. And Carl the Cobra Froch boxes after 5 professional contests away from home in front of his family, his friends and his fans. What a record he had as an amateur with the Phoenix Club when he was coached by Dave McPhilbin. 2 ABA titles, 99 and 2001, the first English boxer to win a World Championship medal, and unbeaten as a professional boxer under the tutelage of Robert McCracken. But it's a night for a homecoming, and it's a night for a performance in front of the home crowd. Carl Froch, who's boxed so many times here in Nottingham as an amateur with an amateur vest, now strips off for what is going to be professional contest number 6. And we can hand over to Master of Ceremonies, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is a super middleweight contest scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds between and introducing, firstly in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed with gold, coming from London, weighing in at 12 stone, 9 3/4 pounds. He holds an 11-fight professional record, 6 wins, 1 win, coming by way of knockout with 5 losses. Please welcome Valerie Odin. And across the ring, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, where it is familiar, silver snakeskin trunks. He comes from Nottingham and weighs in at 12 stone, 3 pounds. He holds a perfect professional record from 5 contests, 5 wins, 4 wins coming by way of knockout. He's the former double ABA champion and a local hero. Please welcome Carl the Cobra Froch. Timekeeper, Mr. Harry Foxall. The referee, Mr. Sean Mesler from Dudley. And this is 8 3-minute rounds.
Give me a clean fight. When I say break, I want you to step back. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Shake hands, come out boxing at the bell.
Terrific atmosphere here in this Nottingham arena. Carl Froch in those familiar snakeskin print trunks against the man whom he's sparred quite a few rounds with in the gymnasium. Born in Guadeloupe in the French West Indies, Valérie Oden, boxing now out of Canning Town, has come in at about 48 hours notice. Not that anybody actually dropped out, but it's been very, very difficult to match Carl Froch with any super middleweights in Britain. All the very good ones are rated above him. Joe Calzaghe, Robin Reid, Glenn Catley, Belfast Brian McGee, David Starry, and Carl Froch has stated publicly, Richie Woodall, that he wouldn't mind taking on any of them. So he's set his sights pretty high, hasn't he?
He certainly has, but I mean, there's no doubt about it. Carl Froch is he really is a class act, and he's up against an opponent tonight. He won't have to go looking for Valérie Oden. Oden fights on the front foot, loves to come forward, doesn't know the meaning of the words going backwards. He's just an out-and-out brawler, if you like, and Froch doesn't want to be standing toe-to-toe with this guy. He just needs to pick his punches and a few side steps, and this guy should literally fall over his shoulder.
Well, Valérie Oden comes into the ring having lost his last couple of contests, most recently to decent Welsh prospect Chris Davis. That was in October by just a single point. Oden then weighed almost 13 stones, and he's just over 12'9", so he's 6 pounds heavier than Carl Froch, who stays very close to that 12-stone super middleweight limit, and that's very good conditioning. Boxed all through his amateur career, needless to say, as a middleweight. Oden, big and rough and a little bit careless, and gets himself caught on a fairly regular basis, but he's quite happy to catch 2 or 3 to land one. Froch working to the body. Just a minute to go to the end of the first round. This scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds. Only once has Carl Froch gone the distance, and that was with cruiserweight Paul Thompson. Oden trying to hold on. Froch equally good to body and head, trying to find a way through. And once again, another man from the class of 2002 stable whose hands are held pretty low.
Yeah, his hands are very low, Carl Froch, but you can see why they call him the Cobra, because that left jab of his is so sharp, it really is.
Well, the right hand's pretty tasty as well, and it was that right hand that stopped the Midlands area champion Mike Duffield in just 74 seconds last time out. But here comes Oden, do what he loves to do, coming forward and having a real old go. Froch has to keep his composure. Oden head down, swinging as hard as he can go. And this is going to be a decent test of Carl Froch's defensive skills. And Oden in the last 20 seconds or so showed exactly the characteristics that we've come to expect of him. We've seen him quite a few times, and we've seen this man box professionally on 5 occasions, trained by Rob McCracken. Bit of action from that opening round. Very unorthodox Oden, covers up very nicely there, but that allowed Froch to get right round the corner with a very solid right to the ribs. And Froch, big long arms. He's pretty tall even for a super middleweight, and he boxed well in the retreat, but something like this will not do him any harm, Rich.
No, this will do him the world of good, and as you said, they've sparred together, these guys, so Oden knows all about Froch, and he's keeping that guard nice and high, which is a very wise tactic indeed.
And there's the 28-year-old, trained most of the time by James Cook and by Brian Lawrence. So 3 minutes gone. Oden lasted longer than Mike Duffield, who found himself on the seat of his pants after just over a minute last time out for Froch, just before Christmas in London.
Now this is more like the Valerie Odin that we've seen before, Jim. Just keeps coming forward, taking the shots from his opponent, prepared to take risks just to get his own blows home. He's really a rough and tough customer, Valerie Odin.
First time we saw him, he had a terrific scrap with a very useful guy, Tox Owo, when he beat Tox Owo, and that was something of a surprise. And we thought this fellow was going to be something of a crowd pleaser. And certainly he's making Froch work, because Froch is having to cover up, and there's a bit of swelling underneath Froch's left eye. Whether that's come from sparring or from this contest, I just don't know.
Yeah, that's better from Froch, picking his punches, because he doesn't want to mix it on the inside, because that's when you are risking a head clash or a cut, and it's better from Froch now, just picking those shots.
Well, they've been through a few rounds together in sparring, but this is an entirely different matter, and Odin is not taking it easy at all. He's making Froch work, and that's what Froch needs.
Hold him, Froch. Sorry.